is Andrew at Gongs Unlimited and Unlimited Singing Bowls, and I'm here today with Aaron, Joshua, and behind the two gongs are Zach and Cabe. And we're going to do a fun healing today that you too at home can join and play along with. And today this is going to be one of a series that I do off and on about helping us all get better communication, better connection with the divine. You want to call it God, you want to call it Allah, you want to call it the Creator, you want to call it the Supreme Being, you want to call it Jack, you want to, whatever name you want, but I'll use generally interchangeably. I know sometimes the name God has charges for people because of their religious upbringing. When I know, like, I was raised Jewish and you weren't supposed to spell out or say the word Yahweh. I'm still alive, I guess I'm okay. It's just a word, but I'm talking more about the energy. And because one of the things I've noticed on the planet with human beings is that some of our craziness, some of our judgment, some of our attacking of other people, some of our attacking of ourselves is because we've divorced ourselves, we've separated ourselves from the divine. And it's not just something that you have to be a mystic for, it's not something that you have to be blessed to have. We're all blessed to have it if we want it. Once you start to have that better communication, your awareness, your life can be a little bit lighter, a little bit more fun, a little bit more, things can work out more, if that was your concern, or just even getting that support. I remember the first time when I was taking beginning clairvoyant psychic kind of trainings, and they hooked us up to God, and I was like, oh my God, I've been waiting for this. And I asked a couple of silly questions and got silly answers, and that was fine. It wasn't like, but it was great because it made me feel secure. I wasn't thinking about what was going on. I wasn't doing it. It didn't make me perfect. I still had a lot of growth and changes to do, but all of a sudden I had that in my pocket, like, oh, God is very, very real. God is very, very personal, and not in a church way or anything like that. So please know when I'm talking about Allah or the Creator, I'm really not, it's not coming from a religious point of view whatsoever. I even like, so if I would say some of the nicest people I've met are atheists. Some are not nice, but a lot of them are. So what are we going to do first? That was the introduction. What I'm going to do is kind of communicate with Aaron and Joshua and the various spirits and God that's going to help today. And we're going to work through a couple energies. So the first thing is, like, Aaron and Joshua, if you can, I want you just kind of like close your eyes and imagine your body, your chakras are connected to the center of the planet Earth. You're going to create like a little garbage chute called a grounding cord to release stuff that's getting charged up. And you don't have to put any energy and effort, and everyone at home can do this too, wherever you're watching it, maybe you're on the subway, whatever. Just create that connection to the center of the planet to make your body safe, to release energy. And just let the energy go. You don't have to push it out, you don't have to fight it. It's just crap, just let the stuff that's not you start to release. And as you do that, I want you to kind of imagine your auras coming closer around you. Again, you don't have to fight it, just visualize it. You want your aura underneath your feet. You want it above your head, about like 2-3 feet above your head, 2-3 feet beneath your feet. 2 or 3 feet to either side of your body. You're making yourself like a kind of a little bubble. And it's okay, it touches other people's auras. We do that all day. It doesn't have to be perfect. There we go, they're getting their auras in much, I can feel it so much easier now. They're getting their energies a little closer. And guys playing the gongs, you can get your auras, just imagine, like around your body. You can do it. Great. Now, the first energy we're going to work on today, and you're not going to have to do much now, guys, now you get the healing part of it, is the energy in front of our third chakras, where we've become hypnotized that the world out there, the world is real. That's more real than anything that those crazy priests who do bad things, or the religious zealots, or the crusaders tell us that world is more real because of all that. And the world is real because you got to make money, and you got to do all this, and I want to get a new vacation, a new car, and all that. I got to do it this way. I got to do it the way of the world. I'm not going to sing that Earth, Wind, and Fire song, but you know what I'm thinking about. If you can put it underneath, that's the way of the world. All right. And so the first thing I'm going to have is I'm watching him, seeing Jesus is kind of coming down, and he's kind of giving you a healing where that has become senior to where we're normally from, which is the spiritual world. Come down here for a body, do a bunch of stuff, maybe do some good things, do some messed up things, whatever, and we go back. And then when you're done with this body and you're in between lifetimes or whatever, you're like, oh yeah, this is the real stuff up there, within. But we forget when we get caught down here, because we get caught up in it as opposed to just being here. And so I'm watching Jesus work on this. I'm just going to do a little sound healing here. He's working with Aaron. Aaron's got some energy. Sometimes this is great, Aaron. What Aaron's working on, where the releasing, is where she felt like she had to prove some things to people, that prove that she was valuable or important. And to do that, you have to have certain levels of taking the world seriously and being really, that way. And so that's trying to show it interesting, because she's trying to prove it in a way that shows a different way than she got from her parents or things like that. But she's still trying to prove something in the world by doing this thing in the world a different way. And there's nothing wrong in that. Let me just be clear, everyone out there, there's nothing wrong in doing it. What we're just trying to do here is maybe it'll be even easier if you're connected to the divine more versus trying to fight in the way of the world. And as I'm talking about this, Jesus coming down, it's really kind of, she's just letting go of a lot of prove it energy. And as she does that, it's interesting, this part of her aura is opening up behind you, Aaron, and it's allowing, I'm going to say, a more feminine part of the Supreme Being to connect with her. And I also see Mary coming down, the big Mary, Jesus' mom, and kind of giving her a soothing part and a reconnection. And this may be something interesting. She may have more interesting dreams. She may get intuitive sort of things, but she'll be connecting a little bit more to her spirit. Look over at Josh. Whoop. Josh has a lot of fear in front of his third chakra. Why? Because Josh really believes in spirit a lot, and along the way you do something like that and you become a martyr for your cause in a different lifetime, and then you have all this energy there, like, every time I try to show more connection to the divine, someone's going to kill me, or slice off my head, or draw and quarter me, or Josh likes his martyr lifetime. So we're just going to let that kind of come out. And Jesus coming down, he's going, yeah, you got about 3 that keep you from reconnecting to God fully, because you're like, if I go, you had a tendency, Josh, to go too hard, too far. And there's nothing wrong with being a martyr. Let me be clear, nothing wrong with being a martyr. But you always felt like, I got to really prove it and show it to people. Because again, we're talking about in front of the third chakra, like in the world. Like you were going to really show people and prove it. And they go, you would sometimes get caught up in the game of the world trying to prove spirit. So as this is coming out, I just really see it's interesting, all this black energy coming out of front of Josh, where he was like, it was like basically, we'll call it spirit or death. Mm-hmm. I will make you become aware of spirit or die. Mm-hmm. Well, we always die. So they're really releasing that. You're getting a big release in front of you, Josh, a lot of that. And they go, so what it does is sort of hampered, you've been kind of push-pull this lifetime, Josh, because you're like, you want to be more aware and show more stuff about spirit, but you also don't want to die right now. So you go back and forth. Beautiful. And as we're seeing a lot of energy lift in this room, and you may be noticing where you are at home or wherever you're doing this, so you're seeing a lot of energy lift. And this is something you can all do, just have to sit down quietly, and you don't necessarily have to have gongs playing. I'm just doing that to kind of marinate them, and just kind of open up and communicate with the divine, to say, hey, communicate to me and help me remove some blocks. And as that stuff starts to come out of Josh, there's a lot of Kundalini fire starting to churn up in Josh, and Jesus is really, they're kind of doing kind of like a deep healing on you there to let you have spirit in the body without having it to be a fight in the world, or a prove it, or I'm going to change lots of people's minds. Yeah, you can just have it for yourself. That's what they're saying. You can just have it for yourself, Josh. And as I'm doing this whole room is really lightening up. There's a lot of energy coming down, even healing our video guys and our gong players. Really, it's kind of, the room is becoming much lighter. And you didn't have to die to do that, Josh. Now, the one last one we're going to work on, I wanted to work on 2 pieces today. This is all about some of our series of like, let's help people get better connected to God and the divine. And let me be clear, I'm not going to be a martyr for it, and I'm not a, what do you call it, those guys that go out and just zealot? I'm just hanging out here in a video room talking about it. Is sort of like in front of the 6th chakra, crown chakra, where there's an energy of sort of not being able to see the truth, not being able to see the light. And so we're going to go over here to Aaron again. You may remember Aaron. And there's a lot of fear in front of Aaron's kind of vision. And it comes, you know, from a variety of people that you knew growing up, her family and other stuff, but they're like, kind of like, don't get too crazy, just follow the rules and you'll be safe. Because there was a lot of, in her family, and I see it's lighting up and around her 1st chakra, there was a nature of her family of coming down the family line of being safe. The goal was to be safe. And certainly where we all live in Lincoln, Nebraska right now, considering the world, it's pretty safe. And that kind of stuff. So that fear of, by being safe, you only look at certain things. And I can assure you, Aaron's a pretty open-minded person. But this has to do with like being able to kind of see or sense what the guidance is of the divine. And so what they're kind of doing is here, I see God kind of coming down, and he's kind of removing, because there's one other thing besides that. So give me a sec, because I'm going to look at it, become aware of it. Yeah. And also don't talk about too many things. The whole thing was like close down the seeing and close down the communication. So you're loosening that up, Aaron, and so you might have some more interesting dreams or visions in the near future. And they're really just kind of taking out this old family line of keep it safe, be scared, keep it safe, be scared. Because you as a spirit are saying, I like new things, I like trying things, I want to do, you know, that kind of stuff. You're like, I definitely as a soul, as a spirit, I'm not scared, but I've been fighting up against this. So they're just loosening up, and I just really see that kind of the permission to kind of get visions and, you know, be aware stuff is filling you up. And we'll kind of look at Josh here. Whee! What's in front of Josh is fairly clear there. What is, let's see what they're working on. Yeah, there's a couple of old kind of religious concepts that you'll put in front. Anytime you go to like, okay, I'm going to talk to God or divine, I'm going to do it this way. Like maybe I'll throw in, I see some old Tibetan stuff. I see some old Christian stuff. I see, but basically you pull back. What's interesting is people will do this. This is interesting, Josh does this. I'm going to pull the ancient documents up, and that's how I'm going to view the thing. I had a lifetime as a, you know, whatever, a rabbi or a monk or whatever. I'm going to pull the ancient documents. That's how you do the thing, talking to God. And they're going, those were just documents, and you're not really in present time anymore about it. So they're validating it because you spent a lifetime. I really see a lifetime, Josh, kind of looking like, I want to be able to communicate. I want to be able to do this all perfectly. And I see the images of you studying and being perfect. And you got a lot of spiritual advancement that lifetime. But so it's like when you go to like, okay, I'm going to do something spiritual, you go into that back pocket, let's say, of your past life and pull it up. Now, the great thing about this for everyone here is I've done plenty of things like this. You have too. There's no judgment about any of this. It's just like, hey, sometimes it's ready to heal, to take another step up. And that's really what this series is going to be about, is about how do we take a step up? How do we get a higher healing? And so you might have things at home or wherever else that you're doing too. These are just our two friends here that are helping us. They're willing to get a healing on camera, so thank you. And so as they start to take that out, I see what they're doing is they're helping you understand that, let's say a lifetime when you're really we'll call it the perfect spiritual scholar and things like that. That's a stepping stone to where you are now. You wouldn't get here if you weren't there, but guess what? You're past that now. And so what does it mean to not be the perfect scholar, but rather be someone who's in life, who's alive doing it? And they go, I'm not even giving you really kind of the full bit of communication they're giving you. I'm kind of just picking stuff as they go along. They're really kind of communicating deeply that it's okay, basically, not to be the perfect scholar. You can get plenty of communication if you want. They go, a lot of people get caught. I'm seeing this, like a lot of people get caught up in, I have to do this all perfectly. I've got to say these many Hail Marys, I won't get grace, or I've got to read this prayer perfectly, or I've got to behave this way or that way, or you can't communicate with God. And really, that's kind of not the truth. You could just be walking down the street, walking down a garden, a pathway around, in a park, and just go, God, I need some help, and you will get it at any point. That's the big thing. Just got to ask. So now I see him coming down. Jesus kind of coming down. He's blessing everyone here, and he's blessing anyone that's watching this. You're watching this. You ask for a blessing. Jesus will be there. And Buddha's also smiling. I just saw a big Buddha smile. Big Buddha smile. Big Buddha smile. Mm-hmm. He's going, you're doing good. He's giving you a high five, Josh, because he goes, the lifetime I was talking about was a Buddhist lifetime. And he's giving you a big high five that you're releasing the stuckness from there. He goes, now I can talk to you again. You're like, wait, Buddha, I got to get it exactly right. I can't talk to you right now. I got to read these things. He goes, no, just talk to me. And Aaron, you're much lighter now. You're bringing this beautiful kind of green, creative energy. It's very light pastel green and a very beautiful blue, which is less fear, more excitement, and you're really kind of holding on to kind of just asking like, hey, if I go off track a little bit, God, just steer me back onto track. Whatever that means for you, because everyone has their different path, right? So you're just going, just give me hints if I'm kind of leaning one way or the other too much. And they're like, that's easy for us to do. They'll say, God's saying he's happy to do that. She's happy to do it, however you feel it. Well, that was pretty fun, and I got to bang a giant tuning fork occasionally. Aaron, I always like to ask at the end so you guys can play a little more quiet. Aaron or Josh, did you have anything you wanted to share from your experience? Aaron, you don't have to, but if you do. Nope, I didn't think so. Aaron looked pretty cooked. Josh, did you want to?
Yeah, I feel fantastic, like a release. Really brought in an opening and a connection there. Like I really felt in a different plane of balance in my body.
Yeah. Thank you. And again, guys, I'm not doing it. I'm just kind of reading it and kind of watching it and talking to them. I always try to remind people that don't get your healing energy mixed in with the thing, because it'll just get kind of, what does Josh need my healing energy or Aaron need my healing energy? They don't. So there. How you doing back there, Trevor, camera guy?
Warm.
Nice. Yeah, it's getting a little hot. Brandon, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
All right. And my two gong guys, you can just hit a gong if you like it. Great. I'd say we had a fun time healing today, and thank you for joining us.